Our solar system has a new visitor, and it's causing a major panic at NASA. The object, named 3I divided by Atlas, came from the void between the stars, and it's unlike anything ever seen before. Forget comets and asteroids. This thing appears to be emitting its own light. You see, this is a game changer. An object traveling through the frozen darkness of space shouldn't be able to do that. The shocking discovery has forced scientists to rethink fundamental laws of physics and confront the chilling possibility that something entirely unknown is heading our way. The glowing ghost from beyond. The story of 3I divided by Atlas begins not with a bang, but with a faint, puzzling flicker of light in a computer algorithm. Telescopes like the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS, in Hawaii, are designed to scan the night sky for anything that moves. Their job is to find asteroids and comets, the predictable debris of our own solar system. They spot thousands of them. But in late 2025, the system flagged something different. It was moving too fast, and its path was all wrong. You see, objects in our solar system are like horses on a racetrack. They all travel in the same general direction, in a relatively flat plane around the sun. But this new object was cutting across the track at a steep angle, coming from way up high, and moving at a blistering speed of over 100,000 miles per hour. This was the unmistakable signature of an interstellar visitor, an object that had been ejected from another star system and had traveled for millions of years before stumbling into ours. This alone was a massive discovery. After all, we had only ever seen two other objects like it before. But the real shock came when the world's most powerful observatories turned their eyes toward the visitor. From the high deserts of Chile to the volcanic peaks of Hawaii, 4 different, incredibly powerful telescopes all focused on 3I divided by Atlas, and they all saw the same impossible thing. The object was brighter than it should have been, way brighter. The thing nobody tells you about objects in deep space is that they are incredibly dark. Comets and asteroids are mostly rock and ice, and they only become visible when they get close enough to our sun for its light to reflect off their surface. But Atlas was still incredibly far out, beyond the orbit of Jupiter, where the sun is just a bright star. There wasn't nearly enough sunlight to explain its brightness. And yet, it was glowing. It was emitting a faint but steady light, seemingly from within. This sent a jolt through the global astronomy community. A comet glows because the sun's heat turns its ice into a gas, creating a fuzzy cloud, or coma, that reflects sunlight. But the data showed 3I divided by Atlas had no coma. It was just a point of light, shining in the dark. This discovery broke the known laws of physics for celestial objects. What could it be? The initial data was so bizarre that many scientists assumed it had to be an error. But when 4 separate observatories, using different instruments, all confirmed the same data, the panic began to set in. Urgent encrypted meetings were convened at NASA and the European Space Agency. The discovery of 3I divided by Atlas wasn't just an interesting new dot in the sky anymore. It was a profound, fundamental mystery. Every theory they had was on the table. Was it made of some exotic material that reacts to the faint radiation of space in a way we've never seen? Was it a fragment of a planetary core, somehow still glowing hot after millions of years in the frozen void? Or was it something else entirely? The existence of a self-illuminating object, traveling between star systems, wasn't in any of the textbooks. It was something new, something that changed the very definition of what could be out there. And it was heading closer. The strangeness of this new visitor forced scientists to look back at the other mysterious travelers from beyond. Not the first warning. You see, 3I divided by Atlas wasn't the first mysterious stranger to visit our cosmic home. Its arrival was the third act in a play that has been unfolding for years, a series of visits that has left scientists with more questions than answers. The first act began in 2017 with an object that would capture the world's imagination. One Eye, Oumuamua. The name is Hawaiian for a messenger from afar arriving first, and it couldn't have been more appropriate. Oumuamua was a complete game changer. First, there was its shape. Based on how its brightness changed as it tumbled through space, scientists calculated that it was long and thin, perhaps like a cigar or a flat pancake, up to a quarter-mile long, but maybe only a few dozen feet thick. No asteroid or comet we had ever seen looked anything like it. It was, for lack of a better word, weird. But the real mystery was in how it moved. As Oumuamua swung around the sun and began to head back out into deep space, astronomers noticed something incredible. It was speeding up. It was moving away from the sun faster than gravity alone could explain. Now, comets do this all the time. As the sun heats them, they shoot out jets of gas, which act like tiny rocket engines, giving them a little push. This is called outgassing. The problem was, astronomers looked at Oumuamua with some of the most powerful telescopes on Earth, and they saw absolutely no sign of a gas cloud or a tail. It was accelerating without any visible means of propulsion. This led one top Harvard astronomer, Avi Loeb, to propose a stunning theory. What if Oumuamua wasn't a rock at all? What if it was an artificial object? A thin solar sail built by an alien civilization, being pushed by the pressure of the sun's light itself. The idea was controversial, but it was one of the few that fit all the data. Oumuamua was the first ghost, a mystery that passed through our system and disappeared back into the darkness, leaving a trail of questions. Then, just 2 years later, in 2019, the second visitor arrived. 2 Eye divided by Borisov. At first, Borisov seemed to be the answer to everyone's hopes. Unlike the bizarre Oumuamua, Borisov looked and acted like a normal comet. It had a visible coma and a tail, and it was made of the same kinds of ice and dust as the comets from our own solar system. It was a huge relief for many scientists. Oumuamua was just a one-in-a-million weirdo, they thought. Borisov showed that most interstellar objects were probably just normal comets, kicked out of their own star systems. But then came 3 Eye divided by Atlas. And the thing that has NASA so worried is that it's not like Borisov. It's not normal. It's even weirder than Oumuamua. While Oumuamua's strangeness was in its shape and movement, Atlas's is far more fundamental. It appears to be producing its own light. This isn't a gentle push from unseen forces. It's a constant, inexplicable glow. It doesn't fit the model of a natural object. This third visitor doesn't just add to the mystery. It creates a terrifying pattern. It suggests that the objects passing through our solar system from other stars aren't all just boring rocks. It suggests that some of them are profoundly strange, operating on principles we don't understand. The discovery has reopened the debate about Oumuamua. Suddenly, the idea of an alien solar sail doesn't seem so crazy. If Atlas is glowing, what other impossible things could be out there? This pattern of strangeness has lit a fire under NASA. This time, they can't just let the mystery fly away. They have to try to see it up close. But the real challenge is figuring out what kind of mission could even reach this bizarre object. A mission to what? The discovery of a glowing interstellar anomaly sent NASA's mission planners into overdrive. You see, the problem with visitors like 3 Eye divided by Atlas is that they don't stick around for long. They scream through our solar system at incredible speeds and are gone before we can do much more than just watch them pass by. If we want to understand what this object is, we have to go to it. And that has started a frantic, almost desperate race to design a mission that could intercept it. The thing is, this is one of the hardest things humanity has ever tried to do. The first major hurdle is speed. The 3 Eye divided by Atlas is moving at more than 100,000 miles per hour relative to the sun. To catch up to it, a spacecraft would have to be one of the fastest things we've ever launched. The New Horizons probe which flew past Pluto, was one of our fastest, but even it would be too slow to catch Atlas on its current path. A mission would need to perform a series of incredibly risky gravitational slingshot maneuvers, whipping around planets like Jupiter to build up enough speed to even have a chance. The second challenge is the launch window. This is the very narrow slice of time, maybe only a few months, when we can launch a spacecraft from Earth so that its path through the solar system will eventually cross paths with 3I divided by Atlas. Likely years or even decades in the future. Miss that window, and the object is gone for good. This puts immense pressure on NASA. They can't spend 10 years developing a new probe. They have to work with technology that already exists or is very close to being ready. So, what are the options? Behind closed doors, scientists are throwing around some wild ideas. The most realistic plan is called a fast flyby. This would involve launching a small, lightweight probe packed with scientific instruments. It would be a one-shot deal. The probe would fly past 3I divided by Atlas at thousands of miles per hour, with only a few minutes, or maybe hours, to snap as many pictures and take as many measurements as it can before the object is once again just a dot in the distance. This is similar to the New Horizons mission to Pluto, but much, much harder because the target is moving so much faster. A more ambitious and much more difficult idea is some kind of impactor mission, like the DART mission that successfully nudged an asteroid. The idea would be to send a projectile to collide with 3I divided by Atlas. The goal wouldn't be to destroy it, but to see what it's made of. The impact would create a plume of debris that another trailing spacecraft could fly through and analyze. This could tell us if the object is made of normal rock and ice or something much more exotic. The risk, of course, is that we might damage or destroy the very thing we're trying to study. The most outlandish theories even whisper about a lander, but the sheer speed of the object makes that almost impossible with current technology. It would be like trying to land a helicopter on a speeding bullet. But the fact that such ideas are even being discussed shows how seriously NASA is taking this. The discovery of a glowing object from another star system is so profound that no idea is too crazy to consider. The race is on, a desperate scramble to solve the technical puzzles before the narrow window to launch closes forever. The question remains, what are they actually preparing to intercept? Nature's greatest trick? When you find something in space that breaks the known rules of physics, you're left with only two possibilities. Either our understanding of nature is incomplete, or what you're seeing isn't entirely natural. This is the debate now raging in quiet, urgent tones in laboratories and observatories around the world. The thing about a discovery like 3I divided by Atlas is that it forces us to confront the unthinkable. Let's start with the most likely, but still revolutionary, scientific explanation. Perhaps 3I divided by Atlas is a type of object we've never imagined before. Some scientists have proposed that it could be what's known as a hydrogen iceberg. The theory goes that in the supercold cores of giant molecular clouds in interstellar space, solid chunks of hydrogen could form. As these objects travel through space and get closer to a star like our Sun, the faint heat causes the solid hydrogen to rapidly turn into gas. This process could potentially release energy in the form of light without creating a visible coma like a normal comet. If this is true, it's a Nobel Prize-worthy discovery. It would mean there's a whole new class of celestial body out there that we never knew existed. But then, the theories take a turn into the truly strange. Another idea is that the object is composed of some form of exotic matter. The thing nobody tells you is that our models of the universe suggest there's a lot of dark matter out there that we can't see. What if this object is a rare clump of a different kind of matter, one that interacts with space-time in a way that causes it to emit light? This would be even more profound, potentially unlocking one of the biggest mysteries in all of physics. Of course, There's the elephant in the room. The theory that is whispered on internet forums and now, with increasing seriousness, in the halls of science. What if it's not natural at all? What if 3I divided by Atlas is a piece of alien technology? The steady glow isn't a chemical reaction. It's the byproduct of an engine or a power source. We are like ancient people seeing a ship's light on the horizon for the first time, with no concept of what a steam engine or a light bulb island. This idea branches into even more fantastic possibilities. Perhaps it's a probe sent by a distant civilization to explore other star systems. Its mission might be purely scientific, and we just happen to be on its path. Some have gone even further. What if the light isn't just waste energy? What if it's a signal, a deliberate beacon, designed to be seen? A message in a bottle, thrown across the cosmic ocean. What could it be trying to say? The thing is, we're all looking for answers to this mystery. You're sitting there wondering, how could this just happen overnight? Could it really be true that an object is glowing on its own out there? Are we missing one key detail that would make it all make sense? Or is it exactly what it looks like? Something completely new. The truth is, right now, your guess is almost as good as anyone's. When you throw out the rule book of what's possible, you're left with a universe that is suddenly much bigger and much more mysterious than it was yesterday. Not a ship, but a seed. But what if we're looking at this all wrong? What if 3I divided by Atlas isn't the message itself, but just the envelope it came in? The thing that keeps some scientists up at night is that all our thinking is based on the idea of sending one big, complex ship to the stars. But an older, and maybe smarter, civilization might have a different approach. This leads to one of the wildest and most chilling theories of all, the dandelion seed hypothesis. Think about how a dandelion spreads. It doesn't shoot one giant seed. It releases thousands of tiny, lightweight seeds that are carried by the wind, spreading far and wide to increase the chance that one will land in a good spot. What if an alien civilization did the same thing with technology? Instead of one big probe, they could have launched billions or even trillions of mini probes, maybe no bigger than a grain of sand across the galaxy. Each one would be a tiny, simple machine, designed to just observe and report back. In this theory, an object like 3I divided by Atlas isn't the probe itself. It's the bus. It's a mothership, a carrier vessel designed for one purpose: to transport these tiny seeds through the cold, dangerous void of interstellar space. And now that it has arrived in a solar system teeming with life, its mission is beginning. The mysterious glow that has NASA in a panic? It could be the sign of the ship's systems, powering up, preparing to deploy its cargo. The glow could be the energy signature of the ship getting ready to release a cloud of these mini probes into our solar system. If that's true, then we are in a very strange situation. These tiny probes could be designed to be almost undetectable. They could fall into Earth's atmosphere like dust, observing our technology, our biology, our entire world without us ever knowing. The appearance of strange UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena, could suddenly have a brand new explanation. It wouldn't be one big ship visiting us. It would be a slow, quiet, and invisible rain of tiny surveyors sent from a vessel that just looks like a weird glowing rock. This idea is terrifying because it's almost impossible to prove or disprove. How do you defend against an invasion that's the size of dust? There's another, darker possibility. Maybe the glow isn't a sign of function, but of malfunction. Maybe 3I divided by Atlas is a ghost ship, an ancient, derelict piece of alien technology that suffered a catastrophe millions of years ago. It could be a ship whose engine core was breached, and it has been tumbling through the galaxy ever since, leaking radiation and energy into the void. The glow we see isn't a signal or a sign of life. it's a warning. So, is 3I divided by Atlas a bizarre new natural wonder that will rewrite our physics books? Or is it the first hint that we are not alone? What do you think is making this object glow? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe.